Greetings and welcome to another episode of State of the Build here on the Peak Auto YouTube channel. My name is Emily Reeves and I am your host, and I absolutely adore producing this series for my friends at Peak. We have always featured huge YouTubers building cool stuff, and now we are going to be sprinkling in up and coming YouTubers building cool stuff. And I'm really excited about that because I have a lot of really awesome friends that are hustling hard in the YouTube world, and I'm really excited for you guys to meet a handful of them. On this episode, we are going to be seeing my friends Ken and Nathaniel from Spider Garage, and I cannot wait to hear more about their most current project. Let's shoot them a text. Ken and Nathaniel, what's going on, fellas? I am so excited to be tossing videos back and forth with y'all. This came up super last minute and y'all jumped right on it, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm really stoked for everyone, and me included, to learn more about y'all's most recent project. I know Nathaniel has been learning tons of welding and fabricating skills, and I'm really excited to see them come to fruition in this build. Okay, y'all have the car with you. Let's start from scratch. What is it? Your model, make, and then we'll delve into the plans for it.
Hey Emily, super excited to be a part of this. We've always been a fan of Peak State of the Build, and really honored to be chosen for this month. I'm Ken.
I'm Nathaniel.
And we're the father-son duo that makes up Spider Garage, for those that don't know us. So we've been building some pretty cool stuff here in the garage over the last 5 years. We've built miles, as you guys are aware of. We've got this car in the back room that we'll explain to you now. We got two more Monzas we just picked up in Wisconsin last week. We've got my Spider that I've owned since 1985. Yes, that makes me old. That we're eventually going to restore. Heck, we've even got a bus out back that we're working on. So no shortage of projects here, but for now, we'll tell you about this one here.
Okay, so this is what started as a 92 Corvette that I bought a few months ago, or almost a year ago now, and then I cut the body off of it. As you can see, we have crudely grafted on this Monza on top of it. Basically just cut it at the A, B, and C pillars, and it is sitting with just a few tabs on it right now. We're still in the process of body swapping this onto the frame. The whole thing is just being held on by these tabs, as I said earlier, and a few jack stands in the back. It just looks cool. It's just been a long process of measuring and cutting things and measuring again and realizing I did it wrong and then doing it again, and this is where we're at right now.
I love that we're getting to see this build in such early stages. Okay, so what's the plan for this car as far as what type of build are we doing? Are we going to build big power? Are you staying with the LT1? I assume it's LT1, the old tune port injection engine. I would imagine you're swapping that out for a certain LS, but maybe not. Maybe you're going to stick with that, or maybe you're going a different power plant. I'm so excited to hear what your goals are for this car, because clearly you're going to do a ton of work just to get that body to fit on that chassis. And that's not a normal Monza body either. You're going wide body with it. This is going to be a radical looking car. Holy cow.
All right, so the whole inspiration behind this build here was, any of you know about the old Inza Monzas that used to race back in the 70s and 80s? That's kind of the look I was going for with this. I just always loved how those cars looked, and I always loved watching videos of them, and I always just kind of said to myself, I really want one. So after I saw Treadwear do Trans Slam with a C5 chassis, and then I saw Sean Shwetty's Speed Shop do his Frankenbird build with a NASCAR chassis, I just kind of thought, I could probably do that. So I started doing some research and found out that a C4 chassis is the same wheelbase as a Monza, or it's really close, off by like a ½ inch. Close enough. It's just a lot wider. So I figured if I got a C4 chassis that was good enough, with good enough parts, I could put a Monza on top of it and then put the wide body fenders on it and make a pretty cool build.
Okay, as far as the engine build goes, yes, we are taking the LT1 out. We are LS swapping it. We have a 6-liter LS, and we got some go fast goodies from Holly that's going to be going on to it. But the best part of it is Bam, that bad boy right there. That is a BorgWarner EFR 9180 turbo that came off of an Indy car. Our good friend Matt, who works for Chip Ganassi Racing, was able to secure that for us. And yeah, we're going turbo LS on this thing. As far as the rest of the build goes, to explain it, Nathaniel said that it's going to be like an old IMSA Decon Monza racer back from the 70s and 80s, but this one's not going to look brand new. It's going to be kind of like an old beat up race car. It's going to have patina. It's going to have a wild paint job. We've had a rendering of it done. It's got a paint job that's been borrowed from 3 of the most famous Decon original chassis of the day, from Al Holbert to Michael Kaiser and the Budweiser car. And it's all going to get combined as if you went to a race car junkyard and found a bunch of old body panels and threw them on here. So right now, this is just the beginning stages of trying to get this thing to fit. But once it's all together, it's going to look like an old race car that got pulled out of a junkyard and pieced together, and we're just gonna have fun with it and beat the crap out of it.
We're boosting it. This is awesome. Okay, turbo LS with an insane custom paint job. Do you guys already have somebody that's going to do that paint work? Gosh, that's gonna be like a lot of airbrushing probably. Are you gonna have a custom wrap built? I'm so curious about the plans on that. That is going to be such an eye catcher. Our friends over at Treadwear do build such cool and unique builds. And I mean, my gosh, yeah, so do Shweddy Speed Shop folks. Like, all these amazing builders. And you guys are going to be in that lineup. Oh my gosh. So then, because you're going to just beat the crap out of it, are you going to be doing a lot of suspension work? Like, how's the handling going to be? Are you going to do a lot of like chassis modifications to accommodate like super wide, tires? Are you going to fill in those wheel gaps with like some 335s or something? Like, dang, this is going to be wild.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't really plan on doing a turbo LS for this when I first started talking about this project, but after explaining it a bit to Matt, he literally just gifted that turbo to me. So I guess I'm doing a turbo now. I have no idea how, but we'll figure it out. As far as the paint job, my philosophy for this is kind of just doing it as cheaply as I possibly can. This is very much a budget build, so it's going to be a lot of me just figuring out how to do it. I've got some friends who've done patina work before, so I'll probably just ask them and trial and error a lot of stuff and figure out how to do it. I've done some custom rattle can stuff before, so, we'll see how it goes. And for the suspension, I'm not really looking to upgrade it too much. I might try to get some QA1 shocks for it, just because that'd be really nice to have, but I figured GM did a really good job designing this suspension back in the 90s, so I'm just not gonna mess with it much. So
plus the whole budget thing.
Yeah, and I don't have the time or money or skill to redesign all of it. That's why I bought the chassis.
The other part of the suspension that is probably my most favorite part, and it's the most expensive part by far, is going to be the wheels. We're not going to leave the Corvette wheels on there. We actually are having a custom set of 3-piece Youngblood racing wheels. They're going to be 18 by 12 on all 4 corners. They're going to be 325 tires. We're even going to probably have to widen the wide body panels to accommodate them. They're going to be 7-inch polished outer hoops, 5-inch back spacing, gold anodized center. They're going to be S214 series. The reason we chose that is they're almost an exact copy of what the original Decon Monzas had back in the 70s and early 80s. And so we want to go for that authentic look. It's going to look like an actual old race car. It's going to have big race car wheels on it as well. Now, these are not going to be the 15-inch rims that used to be on the original car. We're going a little more modern with 18s. In fact, some of those cars even had 15-inch wide rims, but tires get a little expensive when you go that wide. It's going to be expensive enough buying 325s for all 4 corners on this thing. But yeah, it's going to look pretty amazing.
Okay, so primo, custom wheels are going to set this off. Plus, 325s on all 4 corners is going to look beef on that car, because that car is going to be small. Like, it's not a big car. So 325s are going to look massive on it. I always feel like Wheels are such a strong way to finish a build. They set it apart from others, and this build is going to have a lot of aspects that set it apart, but the wheels sound like they're going to be so cool. I love that vintage style race car vibe that you guys are going for. Man, that's going to be so rad. And kudos to you, Nate, for not overcomplicating the build and being like, you know what, GM designed this well, I'm not going to mess with it too much. I mean, updating some of the suspension components for a C4, you know, like not doing anything crazy custom where you have to do all this R&D that's unnecessary. Kudos to you for that. Like, this is going to be a really relatable budget build that anybody can do in their shop if they apply themselves and get creative. And I love showcasing that. And I'm so proud of you guys. Like, y'all have come so far and y'all are just the best. I love you guys. So are there any other design aspects that you guys are excited about with this build that we'd want to hear about? I mean, interior stuff. Yeah, what's the interior going to be like? Is it going to be finished out? Is it going to be bare bones race car? What's the plan there?
So it's funny that you kind of asked about the interior, because as soon as you said that, we both just kind of went like,
I don't know.
we don't know. So I haven't really thought about everything with this yet. There are certain things that I definitely have thought about, or I'm going to keep. The Corvette dash is definitely staying. It's just too cool to not show that off, and it kind of lets people know that it's not a normal Monza. And I've got the seats from the C4 that I'll probably recover because they've got power controls that I really want. So, but as far as the rest of the interior goes, I mean, there's some obvious patchwork we got to do there with the fiberglass floor. Someone tried to jump this, I think, but it's mostly just going to be I'll try to find some carpet online and fill that out and fill in these gaps here. And it'll be similar to a C4's regular interior, I think. It's not going to be anything fancy. It's just going to be functional. Maybe a little bit of comfort. I'm trying to figure out how to get the AC to work in this thing still, but I've had to cut away so much of it, I'm not sure it's going to happen. But obviously, we got the roll bar in there that I'm going to have to remake. And then that's kind of it, really.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty utilitarian inside. It's just going to keep some of the original Corvette stuff, maybe add some cool gauges to it, and just kind of leave it at that. Again, this is a budget build. But the other thing that I wanted to highlight is that a lot of the original Decon Monzas came with different phases. There's phase 1 through phase 5. In the beginning, there was like, you know, a small little ducktail spoiler like what you see right there, and all the way up to phase 5 where they had like the 6-foot tall banana style rear wing. And that's what we're going with. It's kind of ridiculous, quite a bit outrageous, but when you look at the build.
I wanted a wing car.
Yeah, I mean.
Not a Superbird. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, if we don't have a Superbird, how do you get a wing car? Well, you build a Decon clone. We actually know someone who owns a real Decon Monza who's getting us the dimensions for that so we can create our own banana style rear wing that comes up about 6 feet in the air. This thing's you're gonna see it from 10 miles away.
Yeah.
Nate, you're right. When you look inside that car and see the Corvette dash, that's going to be really cool. People are going to be like, what the heck? I was already wondering what the heck this car was. And then they're going to be like, well, it's not a Corvette. What is this? And then the wing on the back. Y'all are just going to do all kinds of cool stuff. I would encourage each and every one of you watching this video to go subscribe to Spider Garage. Ken and Nathaniel are the sweetest father-son team, and I'm so proud of them and their hustle on YouTube. They've been working so hard doing videos. Ken does all the editing himself, and he's got a full-time job. Like, this is not, like, if it were easy, everyone would do it. It's that kind of stuff. So please go show them some support and drop them a subscribe. Thank you, Ken and Nathaniel, so much for the time, and so happy that you guys were able to join us today on this episode.
All right, thanks Emily for having us. This is a really cool opportunity to get to show off this. But like you said, it's such an early stage, but
there's a lot to do still, and as you can see, a lot of pains going back and forth, attaching the body, taking it back off again, reattaching it because we made some mistakes. So it's going to be a while before we got this thing on the road, but man, this was sure fun. So thank you for the opportunity to kind of show this build off. we're looking to the viewers as well to see if there's anything that you guys would like to see on this build or anything you would suggest. I mean, we're kind of open to some suggestions. We got a rendering of this, but this car is kind of fluid design as we go. We've already made some major changes to it, even from our original concept. So
yeah, this whole build is kind of problem solving. So as soon as we do one thing, we kind of have to figure out how to do the next. So
yeah, we're just winging it. We love you, Emily. Thank you so much for inviting us to be on this, and thank you to Pete for offering to feature us. And hope to see you soon.
Yep.
Comment down below if you have some ideas about their build. That was super cool of them to ask for y'all's input. I think that the car community always has ideas and cool suggestions. So I love this build, and I think it's going to be really cool to see it come together. And I'm so proud of you guys doing such unique stuff and learning as you go and showing your mistakes and showing the flaws of the build, because there will be plenty. But you know what? Nothing that's cool is normal and without, flaws. We cannot thank y'all enough for watching this series. If you have suggestions of other YouTuber builders that you would love to see featured, please drop them below in the comment section. I can't wait to read all the comments, and I really appreciate y'all being here. And Happy New Year! Thanks so much. We'll see y'all on the next episode.